All right, so the market did show a little bit of weakness today. You can see the SPY gap down and sold off, closing a little bit off the lows, but there was a bunch of tariff announcements, and that sort of slapped the market down. You guys did a great job, as always, of finding stuff to trade. I'll go over a couple of those, and then I'm going to go into what we're watching for tomorrow. SYTA had a nice pop today. Let me go to, well, you know what? I took a screenshot, actually. That is not going to work. SYTA. Go to 5-minute candles. I'm going to try to just bust through this. This is the one that RJC mentioned first, and then Kevin P also, where it topped out at 375, which is also what it hit on Thursday. Remember, the market was closed on Friday, and then the pullback. So the idea was over 375, and you can see what it did. It went as high as, what, 439? Risk was like 15 cents. Never stopped out. So that's pretty awesome. Let's go. VVOS is another one. I mentioned this over the mic, kind of right over the early high. 443, I think, was my idea. The worst case stop, again, about 15 cents below. Didn't stop out, and it went to 527. So that's really good R2. 84 cents on 15 cents risk that didn't stop out. ENVX is another one. On this one, I gave the idea over the mic this morning, just over the early high. The early high, we had a half number inflection point. I think I said over 1250, and it went to 1337. We had the pre-market high still above. I always try to call stuff that's in play with a chart catalyst nearby. In this case, the pre-market high. And I even gave MBIO, which ended up closing kind of ugly, but this was the opening candle. And then I gave the inside fives idea over this red candle, which was 452 right there. And you can see it pretty much worked right away, ended up going to 7. So there's some highlights from the day. And let me go back to the daily here and just go into what we're watching to hopefully find some trades tomorrow. All right. FFAI, I'm going to put that back on watch. You can see the horizontal line there. It's flirting with a 2 break. It has a terrible, average true range or whatever, so I don't have a lot of expectations for it. But the chart looks kind of interesting. It actually looks better if I go out to the 1 year. Then you can kind of see this long base. It looks kind of poised to break out. But anyway, it goes on watch. NPWR goes back on watch. Had the breakout attempt on Thursday, and then kind of a quiet inside day today. I still think that one could break out one of these days. What's next? GSIT, kind of a sleeper pick, because it wasn't great volume, but it is sneaking up and breaking out above a lot of recent resistance. My memory serves, if my memory serves, I believe that's considered an AI play. SYTA, let me zoom in a little bit here. Just a nice little, it did this pop sideways and is pushing up again. A little bit extended, but it's in play, right? It's been, oh man, as I'm looking at it, I'd mentioned in pre-market that it was nearing the high of day, and now I see it ripped. That would have been a nice after-hours trade. Hopefully some of you got it. IRBT, kind of another sleeper pick. We had this pop, a secondary pop, sideways action, and a little bit of extra volume today, trying to break back up. CURR, nice pop today, closing a little bit off its highs, but had good volume. ENVX, already mentioned this one. My problem with this one is it's up 4 straight days in a row. Today had really good volume, though, and a fairly strong close. So maybe we get a continuation day tomorrow. I'll only trade it with a proper intraday setup. Same thing with VVOS. Had a nice trade in it today, but it's now 3 days up in a row. I think it needs to pull back, but I put it on watch anyway. JOBY is still just coiling up near recent highs. KSCP, kind of another sleeper pick. This big volume spike here today was still right at around 1 million shares, but it is trying to break resistance here. So let's keep our eyes on that one. CREV, another thin one, trying to get up near recent highs. A little bit of extra volume in that one today. SRM, actually gave this idea too, another 2-day high break. We talked about this a lot in chat today. The fact that it hit 820 right here. Sahil put it on the radar when it started this push up. Well, you see it topped out at 820. And lo and behold, what did it top out on Thursday? 820, right? So then you get the pullback. I love that setup. I called it over 820, and it went pretty quickly to 858. chop sideways after that. But anyway, let's go back to the daily. That one goes back on watch for tomorrow. It's kind of obscure. There's really no great daily chart set up there. But let me pop back to the intraday one more time just to show you this big volume spike. That tells me, hey, maybe something's up, right? And it's a former, let me go back to the daily. It's a former runner, right? Had this big crazy move back here. So that one might be getting itself back in play. CLBR, you can kind of picture a trend line from here to here and actually trying to break it here. Closed at 1677. Interesting overall, these highs. And I think Donald Trump Jr.'s involved in this one, and they're doing some kind of interview, I think, tonight. So maybe that one goes, maybe it doesn't. And then HYPD, this is a weird chart. I know it. It's only 2 days, but this is the former EYEN. And I guess that this is the new symbol under a merger, so it's only been trading for a couple days, and you've just got 2 red candles. But I do think that being the former EYEN, which was a great stock, we got a lot of good trades in that one. Makes me think maybe tomorrow it turns back up. I know it's kind of silly to look at a 2-day chart. But anyway, that's it for me. I'll see you guys in pre-market, and we'll add some gappers to this list. Have a great night.